guys, it's your girl, Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, where we teach you how to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. During this show, you will hear solo episodes from me, where I'll show you how I have landed and negotiated 5- and 6-figure speaking contracts and licensing deals. You'll also hear from our amazing guests who have grown enormous speaking businesses by utilizing sales and marketing principles that work. If you want to grow your speaking business, listen to this podcast, and then afterwards, head on over to ashleynicolekirkwood.shop and grab my book, Speak Your Way to Cash, How to Start at the Top of the Speaking Market instead of working your way up from the bottom. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Hey, y'all. What's up to the Speak Your Way to Cash family? It's Ashley Kirkwood back again with another podcast episode. But this time, guys, I am actually going to let you listen in to a live video that I recorded. Now, if you're listening to this live video on the podcast and you're like, oh, I want to join your next live, I want to ask you questions, I want to be able to get feedback about my business, then you have to follow me on Instagram at The Ashley Nicole Show, and make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page. All right. Make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page because that's where I go live. I also sometimes go live in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group, but enough about that. Even though you may have missed it live, you're about to hear it again. So listen into this live episode and let me know what you think. You can always send me an email to ashley@speakyourwaytocash.com. Let's listen in. Hey guys, it's Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I am so excited for this interview and to share with the Speak Your Way to Cash community, Kelly Parker, who I believe you all have met before. I was on her podcast, so now she's on my podcast, which is going to be really cool for the second time. Yes, this second time. So this will be like an update episode, which is really cool too. So Kelly is back again. Kelly Parker is back again to share her brilliance with you all, tell you guys about her journey, her struggles, maybe her successes, and kind of how she's been able to keep going despite life's curveballs. That's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm super excited. So Kelly, welcome back to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast for this update episode.
Thank you, Ashley. It's so good to be back, and it's good to see you again.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you do. How do you describe yourselves, and how can our audience engage with you?
Absolutely. Well, as you spoke about, this thing called business is a journey. But what I do is empower brand leaders to turn followers into devoted fans with the power of storytelling. And so that's what I teach on, storytelling and how to utilize story listening to really move your brand and your company forward.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And is that the message you're taking into corporations as well as individuals?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Nice. Okay, really cool. So how about, let us know what's been happening since the first episode. The first episode, you had just landed your first paid speaking contract. Where are you at now in your speaking journey?
Well, since then, with your help, I was really able to get focused on who I wanted to serve. And what I noticed was I was afraid to really say what I wanted. So instead of doing that, I was like, well, I'm going to do all these things. Like, I know I really want to speak to corporate. Like, I know I really want to serve the corporate audience, but that seems hard. It seems like it's going to take too long. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do some college over here. I'm going to do some of this over here. And I realized that once I got more clear, like once I said, I want to go after the corporate market, I feel like some things started to align a little bit better for me. And from there, I was able to get clear on who I needed to talk to. So since I knew that, I was able to, you remember this, we're on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And targeting specific job titles and trying to figure out who are you bringing in for Black History Month? Who are you bringing in for Women's History Month? And kind of trying to create those connections, which was helpful because now I knew who I was trying to talk to. I wasn't trying to talk to 5 different people with 5 different issues. So within that, I think what I've been learning is like you have to continually put yourself out there, and every interaction might not necessarily be a win, quote unquote, but you're still learning along the way. So every conversation I'm having with a corporate buyer, whether or not I get the business or not, I'm learning what your pain points are. I'm learning maybe what you are buying. Maybe you're not buying for me, but you are buying for this, or you are interested in this. So it's like every step gets me a little bit closer to truly understanding how my skill set can serve who I'm trying to serve.
Yeah, definitely. And where do you think that fear comes from? That fear of like, I know what I want to do, but because I'm scared to do that, I'm just going to do a whole lot of stuff. Like, where do you think that the fear of niching down came from for you, and how did you eventually overcome it? Because a lot of people listening have the same thing, I'm sure.
I think it's like deep down, the fear is like, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
Or it's going to take so long for it to work. I'm going to be in a nursing home trying to empower the people. So it's like not wanting to lean into perhaps the patience that it's really going to take for what you're really wanting to come to pass. But the interesting dynamic about that is I feel like we slow ourselves down even more by trying to speed ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like things have started to speed up the more specific I got.
Yes.
I think the other thing too, honestly, is I think in our mind, we have like a hierarchy, and like corporate might be toward the top. Like, ooh, could I do that there? I don't know. And I've worked in corporate all my professional life. Still. Yeah. There's that question, like, could I serve in this way? So I think sometimes maybe we try to go after several things because there's a questioning, like, can I really function at that highest level? Or you don't really want to sit in and just go after it.
Yeah. And so you mentioned you were using a LinkedIn strategy and reaching out and kind of talking to people. Were you, because I know the biggest fear I feel like people have is they think they're going to get cursed out or put on blast because they're reaching out cold and people are going to be so upset. What was your experience with that? Were people generally interested? Were they just not respond at all? Were they willing to speak with you? And what emotions came with doing that outreach?
Yeah. The interesting thing about doing that on LinkedIn is like, I didn't think a lot about the people that didn't respond or who didn't click. Like, it's almost like not even visible. Like you're thinking about who's engaging. You're thinking about the conversations you are having. You're thinking about the people who do want more information. So I think if anything, it was helpful. I feel like the confidence, and you say this all the time, the confidence comes from the action, like taking the action and not knowing what the response is going to be. But if you do enough, you will get a response. It's math. It's science. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you do it enough, you will begin to have those moments. So, but there were those days where it's like a little grueling, like, oh, here we go again. I don't know if anyone's going to say anything, but by continuing to do it, I proved to myself that it works.
Yeah.
Work it.
And were you doing, so I remember were you doing reaching out to 10 people individually? So like you were customizing the message to each of them, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's like even more intense than automating it. But right. I think it's more productive too, because when you reach out to someone by name, like for everyone listening, if I were to reach out to you and be like, it's a pray and spray message, it's like, maybe I'll respond, maybe I won't. But if I reach out, I'm like, hey, Kelly, I saw your latest podcast episode about blah, blah, blah. You're more likely to respond because it's for you. So definitely, guys, like just be encouraged. Like be encouraged on the journey. So what's the moment that's happened since our last time speaking that really made you feel like, what's your biggest win that you're proud of since last time coming on the podcast?
Oh, well, I have to tell my Speak Your Way to Cash live story.
Yes. Tell that story.
So being at Speak Your Way to Cash Live, I met so many amazing people, and you gave me the opportunity to share about what I do. And through those relationships that I built and people that I met, I was introduced to some key contacts within that person's company who got me in contact with the right people, helped me to get the right meeting set up. And next thing I know, we were presenting a proposal. And at that point, it's so interesting at that point because you're like, it's literally above me now. Like I have done everything that I could do. Like I have researched, I have asked all the questions, I've said numbers out of my mouth that I've never said. It's done. I've done everything.
Yeah.
So I think the moment was after having presented the proposal and I got an email. And it said something like, so what kind of payment methods do you accept? And I'm sorry, what? My first thought was I should have charged more from you.
Yes.
Because we didn't have that like back and forth moment.
Negotiation, yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, like this is a real thing. And so that's kind of the moment I hold. Like, it told me like all work works.
Yes, yes. And for those of you listening, like I wish I had the video. I may find a way to edit it into this, but it wasn't just that she presented. She literally like She didn't just tell us what she did. She showed us what she did. So Kelly came up and actually presented her framework and how she talks about her framework using storytelling and comedy, which makes perfect sense because she was brilliant at it. It was so good, so funny, so encouraging, so inspiring, and it was quick. But because it was so good, we did a call to action right then and there. We were like, look, of all the people at the event, who will commit to connecting her with HR directors by like the end of next week? And so many people were like, I'm going to connect her. I'm going to connect her. I'm going to connect her. And it shows you the power that's in the room. It also shows you the power of proximity. So that means most of you listening probably know someone who has your next contract. You just haven't asked them to make the connection. And it's so much easier when you go in with the connection. So much easier. It's so much easier. But the other stuff you do can be helpful as well. But like, she really, kudos to you because you showed up and showed out and did an incredible display of how your framework changes lives, and you use storytelling. So it makes perfect sense that that's the direction you're taking. So what did you propose? Was it just a one-time workshop? Was it multi-parts? What was that? And how did you come up with your pricing?
Yeah. So through conversations with them, I kind of had a really good idea of what they wanted from me. So it helped me to like align what I was proposing with what I kind of knew they wanted. So I proposed a 90-minute workshop and all company keynote as well, or all company presentation. So how did I come up with the pricing? Once again, through relationships, proximity, all of the things. So one of my friends from the Academy, from Speak Your Way to Cash Academy, she was really instrumental in helping me come up with what a good pricing strategy was going to be. And I'm thankful for that because I would have come in much lower. And she was doing, no. You have no room to negotiate. She said, they don't know your bottom number. You do. So you need to, and she pointed out, like, if they need to come down, then you start taking stuff off. Okay. We're not.
Right. Exactly. Good. I'm glad you went to someone who was in the Academy because otherwise people would be like, girl, you better charge them $5,000. Like, and it doesn't help. And it's very hard to get clients to go up. Like we've had corporate clients that will, if they started with us at a lower rate, it's like they have a mental block towards going up in the future.
Yeah. And here's what I learned with that too. Like we had the mentality, like, let me try to be affordable or whatever, because you're assuming people don't have money.
Yep.
I'm here to tell you that people got money. Okay. Like sometimes maybe the people we're exposed to, maybe they don't have it, but people out here that they have money and that they're willing to pay for the level of service that they would like. So that was another thing I learned as well. It's not always, I don't know if it ever is, but it's not always to our advantage to be quote unquote affordable or all those things we kind of run through our mind. Like, well, if I put this number out there, I'll just totally blow it.
And so so for the workshop and the keynote, where did you come in at? You could give us a roundabout. Was it over 20K or was it under 20K?
For the whole thing?
Yeah.
So yeah, we came in right around 20K.
Okay. And they didn't ask any questions?
They didn't ask, nope, not one question, nothing.
Yeah, so that does mean the rate needs to go up. Definitely. But this is really cool because it's not about the one time, it's about the continuous relationship. And a lot of people look at doing business with corporate the same way you look at doing business with individuals, which is like, they work with me once, they may or may not come back. It just depends on their budget next year. But like with companies, their problems will always compound and evolve. And as long as your services can match those problems with good solutions, that relationship can continue to grow and thrive, especially if the employees love it. And you're so engaging and interesting and fun that you're likely going to be different than any other consultant they've brought in. Because I could tell you, people be scared to talk to, that's not even right grammar, but people get so scared to talk to corporations because they're like, oh, it's a big company. What am I going to do? And not realizing they hire boring speakers all the time. Like their default is boring. Okay. So if you come in with some life, some energy, some spunk, the employees are like, oh, I don't have to be on my phone the whole time. Interesting. Yeah. This is great. I can actually listen.
It's so interesting that you say that because one of the buyers within our conversation, he said something like, can you do it like this? Like when we have these conversations, it's light and it has a certain feeling. Will you do it like this?
Yeah.
And I never really thought about that, but I get it. Because a lot of these conversations, they can be heavy, they can be dry and all those things. And to your point, if we're able to come in these spaces as our true selves, you literally stand out for being yourself.
Yes, you do. And I think because he brought that up, like your next time you have to add into your sales pitch, like I'm going to bring humor. I'm going to bring fun. I'm going to bring joy. I'm going to bring peace. Like, because the world is so heavy. It is here. The Speak Curated Cash book is now available for you to purchase. Go to Amazon to get your audio, Kindle, or hardcover copy of the book. And we have a paperback copy, okay? So you can get it on Audible and listen to it. And I read it myself. So if you love the podcast, you will love the audiobook. Go get it now. Speak Curated Cash, how to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. A bit about the book. It's broken down into 6 parts, and it is over 260 pages of goodness, okay? Part 1 covers mindset. Part 2 covers getting yourself in the press. Part 3 covers assembling your 6-figure offer. Part 4 covers inviting people to work with you, sales. Part 5 covers delivering an outstanding speech. And Part 6 covers legalities that every speaker needs and how to build a team. I mean, literally, what did we leave out? Nothing. So go to Amazon and grab your copy today. And let me know you did it too. Like, no one wants to bring in a heavy speaker, even if your topic can be heavy. Like I tell the people who do DEI work, I'm like, look, I get it. It's a serious thing. It's not right. You're angry. You cannot bring anger to your sales call. Like, you cannot bring heavy downtrodden to your sales call. Like, no one wants to bring darkness into their environment because it's already so heavy for employees. So whatever topic you present on, bring the light to it. Literally, I just interviewed Kenyatta, so now I'm thinking about light all the time. Like, bring the light to it. Seriously. So that's huge. That's so huge. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just feel like every week for different reasons, I'm like doing something that just scares the heck out of me. Either I'm for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I think that's good because that's how you grow.
That's really good. And I mean, so in addition to this, you've also been writing for Fast Company, which is great. I know another member of the Academy writes for Fast Company. How did you get that opportunity and what led to you getting it not once, but twice?
Yeah. So I think the theme, I guess today must be relationship. So even before that, let me take a step before that. Publishing your thought leadership, even if it's on your own platform. So There was a LinkedIn post or something that I had posted. And then the contact I had was like, your writing is really good. You know, if you have an article, I have a contact where you could get some things published. So through that relationship, I was able to make that connection and got the first article published. And I got a lot of good response from it. What's interesting is I got good and bad, honey. I had people cussing me out, sending me emails. Yes, it was very interesting. I was like, oh, well, I must really be doing something then. So I had that. Then I had great things like, thank you for that. That really changed how I look at things. So I had that. So anyway, the editor came back like, we got an incredible response. I want to keep working with you. And so she actually sent me an idea for another article. And she was like, would you want to take a stab at giving your take on it or whatnot? So I think it's like a mix of putting yourself out there and really trying to operate in excellence in what you do. Like, if you're good at what you do in whatever avenue, if you're good at it and you continually step up to the plate, you make those connections and I think get where you're trying to go.
Wow, that's so, like, I've never even thought about the negative responses you could get from sharing your thought leadership. That makes so much sense. Like, that makes sense, but I'd never, like, the boldness of someone to really email you, like, with their name showing and be like, I don't like your opinion.
Yeah.
That is wild.
It was wild, but I'm grateful that it happened because I realized that I'm okay.
Yeah.
I survived. Like, nothing happened that is relevant to my life. So it's a liberating feeling to know I don't have to be at the mercy of an opinion or anything. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm very careful about what I say and how I say it. And I'm like, well, with all that care, we still ended up here with you telling me off. So I might as well be who I am. I might as well say what I want to say respectfully, but I might as well be who I'm meant to be and not be worried about what's going to be said on the back end because that's just going to happen, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Like we've definitely had trolls, but normally it's on Facebook ads. Like when we were writing articles for the Chicago Journals and things like that, we didn't get any trolls. Like, I don't know. I guess I assume like business people aren't sitting there getting riled up. Like you, how are you a Fast Company reader just like, who am I going to get today? Like Facebook ads, I expected. We've definitely been trolled on the internet, but like that is so wild. That's good for you. Wow, that's really good. And it's such a big platform, but it also is a blessing when you get trolls and stuff, because then you're like, oh, wow, my influence is really growing now. So now you know you're really onto something when you get a few haters and stuff at your back. That's great. Well, congrats on that. One thing you mentioned was just, and one thing I'm always really impressed with you is your resilience, the ability to keep going through all the emotions you feel when it looks like you're not growing. Like, I know how that feels because I've been at it for a while, but I don't think people see it because it's not something that I personally focus on, because I just can't. Like, you got too much stuff to do. But there are moments when, even in my career now, I'll be going towards a certain direction and it won't be happening as quickly as I want, or I'm not getting the response that I want. And I feel like my effort is outweighing the results that I'm seeing. Even though my effort is like way up here, the results may be like, right here. But learning or practicing, continuing to move forward through those emotions is what makes great people great. So what do you tell yourself in those moments where you're sending out pitches and not getting a response, or when you're having proposal meetings, but they're not accepting? Like, now that you've been through the sales cycle several times, what do you tell yourself to keep going that may encourage the listener who's just starting out?
I think one very practical thing is I think you have to be very careful about who you are surrounding yourself with and who you are telling what to. Okay. Yes. So don't be talking about your ups and downs with somebody who doesn't understand this life, who doesn't understand this mentality. Yeah. And you have to be very intentional about positioning yourself around people that have done what you are trying to do successfully. Yes. Who are willing to encourage you, who are willing to give you a tip or two, but people who actually understand this life and can model for you. You know what? Me and you aren't that different, actually. And if you can do it, I can do it. And sometimes it's just that word from somebody else. Just keep going. Like, period. Yeah. Like, that is the cheat code is to not stop. It's just to keep going. And it seems like it's something deep. Like people who we think are quote unquote successful, like they must have the magic formula and they must be so talented. But oftentimes it's just that they refuse to give up. So I think that's part of it. But I think the other part is that you have to be able to see what is not seen. Yeah. Like you have to literally be able to taste and feel and see this future you, this future business, this future reality that feels as real as the nose on your face. And we have our moments where we get discouraged. I know I do, honestly. Yeah. I have times where I'm like, I think I'm going to give up. Like, I think that's the thing. Maybe I'll just give up. But then there's that vision, that drive, that thing I've heard you talk about. It's that thing when you wake up in the morning and it says go. Yeah. It's part of you that will not rest until you make that vision a reality, and you have to tap into that part of you. But also just know it's okay that both of those things can be true at the same time. Like you can be having a bad day, a bad moment, but also really be driven by your vision, and really there's still a part of you that believes like, man, I just got to get this done. So I just think there's just a part of me like I am not willing to rest until the mission is completed, period. Yeah. So if this door is locked, that's fine. I'll try this one over here. If that's locked, that's fine. We'll try the window. Yeah. Whatever it takes. Exactly. That's just how I think about it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. And basically, to sum that up and add to it, I want you all to know who is listening to this, maybe you feel a little bit discouraged. Feelings are an unreliable leader. So people who are consistently led 100% by their feelings, it's an unreliable leader. Like there are days I don't feel like doing things, but I do them despite my feelings. And each time I do that, I'm gaining discipline. Feelings and discipline don't really go together. Like all the time. Not to negate everything you feel, like get your therapist, do what you got to do. But like feelings are an unreliable leader for me. If I don't feel like eating healthy, I still need to do it. If I don't feel like waking up, brushing my teeth, doing whatever I got to do to get ready to go to work, I still have to do it. And it's the same in your business. Like don't be led by your feelings, be led by that vision. When you have a vision, it's a lot easier to stay consistent, even though it's not easy, but it is easier than just being out here. This guy, I was on a panel with the guy, he called it like, if you're just a butterfly landing on whatever, hoping that everything will happen for you. It won't work. Like you need to have a vision, stay focused, and don't rely on your feelings to get you to that destination. Don't rely on your feelings exclusively to get you to that destination. That's so encouraging, Kelly. This is so good. Oh my gosh, y'all. If this is a good episode, I want you to leave a review. And if you're listening to it, mention Kelly in the review of the podcast, because this is really, really, really good. But I'm really proud of you. I'm happy for you. And I'm very encouraged by the fact that you are continuing to thrive and keep going. I interviewed Kenyatta earlier. She's doing the same thing. Like, I just love seeing Academy alum killing it, like crushing it out here. So we talked a little bit about what happened at the event in terms of you being on stage, but what else did you take from the event? Any other big takeaways or mindset shifts that happened that helped you to stay even more focused this year?
I think I would say there was just a lot of reinforcing of a lot of the ideas that we talked about within the academy. And I think one that sticks out for me is just once again going back to the pricing and making sure that we price ourselves appropriately. And don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Something that I've experienced here lately, now that it's happening, it's like, wait a minute. So you mean I got to deliver a output that's at the level of the dollar amount that I said? And then there's that question like, oh, can I do that? Like, I don't know. And I've heard you say this before too, like sometimes we would prefer to price lower so that we don't have to rise to the occasion of the true gift that's inside us. So I just kind of hold that close in heart. Another thought that I had, if I can share this too.
Absolutely.
Is as I'm thinking over like the past year, the results that I've had have come from just consistent action that I have taken. Maybe not even the majority of the action, but this consistent action I've taken. But then I think about the amount of time that I have spent overthinking, doubting, ruminating, all of that. And if I could package up all that and channel it to just take an action, just short little consistent actions. So just for people that struggle like me with overthinking, sometimes you just have to do it. And I'm just looking back, I kind of have wasted some time overthinking, but you can still waste time and have some wins. You know what I mean? Like, it's a perfect process. It's not just up, 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 up. I think it's a mix of all sorts of things over time.
That's a really good point. Like, and I know, because mainly the people who follow us are similar to you, really smart, educated, have gifts, have great personalities, are emotionally intelligent, but because you're really smart, have gifts, you want to be good at what you're doing. And sometimes this requires you to do it wrong first. And that can be really scary because none of us like to be critiqued or judged based on effort that's not our best. But you only get to the best in this if you keep doing the things consistently and you get better over time. So I love your story because I like when people keep going through trials and then they win. Like, I like that. I like that sometimes you were doing effort and it didn't always feel like there were going to be results that came around the corner, but you kept going because you were committed to the vision and got results. And I'm so happy for you and your first 5-figure contract, like first of many. And this relationship really can grow. So I just want to encourage you to not look at any win that you've had as the end win. Like, it's literally just the start of all these beautiful relationships, and figure out how you can knock it out of the park so that they consistently work with you over the next several years or even decades, and introduce you to all of their friends. You have such a great opportunity with this opportunity that is presented before you.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you. I mean, I'm grateful for all your help and your guidance and really giving me a plan to follow, something I've been trying to figure out for so long. So I just appreciate that, because this sort of thing, you can't Google it.
Right.
And I tried, and you might get a tip here and there, but it's going to take you longer. You'll probably miss some things, or maybe you're focusing on the wrong things or doing things in the wrong order, etc. And so it's just such a blessing to be in a community led by you, where you could lead us in a path where we know that it's going to lead us to where we're trying to go.
Yes, definitely. Well, this is great. I can't wait to see all the beautiful things that you'll do. So how can our audience connect with you if they are HR directors or they're in a company and they want to bring your program into their organization, or if they want to follow you on your podcast and Instagram channel? channels, where should they go?
Absolutely. Well, you can find me first on LinkedIn at Kelly D. Parker, and you can also check out my website at kellydparker.com. You can also listen to my podcast, which is called Business Storytelling Made Easy. You can learn more of that again on the website, kellydparker.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find it there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming back, Kelly, for this update episode. Thank you guys in the Speak Your Way to Cash community for listening in. Please don't forget to rate the episode. And then if you are someone who's like, look, I need to get in the Speak Your Way to Cash live event, tickets are now on sale. So go to www.speakyourwaytocash.com/event and I will see you in November. Get your in-person ticket. I know people are like, I'm going to do virtual. What should I do? I don't know. Come in person. It's different. The benefits are way worth it. And this year is our 7th year, y'all. Well, 7th event. This is our 7th event. I think it's year 4, but it's our 7th Speak Your Way to Cash live event. And we are thrilled about the surprises and bonuses we have in store for our VIP in-person guests. You do not want to miss it. So go to www.speakyourwaytocash.com/event. And we're calling it like the reunion. So if you've ever been before, we want you to come back. We got some cool things in store for those of us who've been rocking with us for a while. So I will see you guys in November. Please follow Kelly on all her platforms. She uses LinkedIn beautifully. Listen and we'll read her Fast Company articles. I don't know if there's a book coming out soon, but get that if there is. And I'll be talking to you guys later.
All right, wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have 2 ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you already know that you want to be a speaker. You're ready to fully commit and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time Googling and doing it on your own, then book a VIP day with me. You can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speak Your Way to Cash group, Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show. And I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome day.